Škoda Auto, more commonly known as Škoda, is an automobile manufacturer based in the Czech Republic. The car manufacturer was founded in 1895 as Laurin Klement. It was acquired by Škoda Works in 1925, and became a wholly owned subsidiary of the Volkswagen Group in 2000, positioned as the entry brand to the group. Its total global sales reached 939,200 cars in 2012. History: the Škoda Works were established as an arms manufacturing plant in 1859. Škoda Auto is one of the 5 oldest companies producing cars and has an unbroken history alongside Tatra, Daimler, Opel and Peugeot. Laurin Klement, Slavia. The origins of what became Škoda Auto go back to the early 1890s when, like many long-established car manufacturers, a company started manufacturing bicycles. In 1894, 26-year-old Václav Klement, who was a bookseller in Mladá Boleslav, Bohemia, was unable to obtain spare parts to repair his German bicycle. Klement returned his bicycle to the manufacturers, Seidel and Neumann, with a letter, in Czech, asking them to carry out repairs, only to receive a reply, in German, stating, "If you would like an answer to your inquiry, you should try writing in a language we can understand." Not satisfied with the reply and realizing the business potential, Klement, despite having no technical experience, decided to start a bicycle repair shop, which he and Václav Laurin opened in 1895 in Mladá Boleslav. Before going into partnership with Klement, Laurin was an established bicycle manufacturer in the nearby town of Turnov. In 1898, after moving to their newly built factory, the pair bought a Werner motorcyclette. Laurin Klement's first motorcyclette, powered by an engine mounted on the handlebars driving the front wheels, proved dangerous and unreliable. An early accident on it cost Laurin a front tooth. To design a safer machine with its structure around the engine, the pair wrote to German ignition specialist Robert Bosch for advice on a different electromagnetic system. The pair's new motorcycle made its debut in 1899. In 1900, with a company workforce of 32, local production began and 150 machines were shipped to London for the Hewson firm. Shortly afterwards, the press credited them as makers of the first motorcycle. The first model, Voituretta, was a success and the company was established both within Austria-Hungary and internationally. By 1905 the firm was manufacturing automobiles, making it the second oldest car manufacturer in the Czech lands after Tatra. Škoda. After World War I the Laurin Klement company began producing trucks, but in 1924, after running into problems and being affected by a fire on their premises, the company sought a new partner. Meanwhile Škoda Works, an arms manufacturer and multi-sector concern which had become one of the largest industrial enterprises in Europe and the largest in Czechoslovakia, started manufacturing cars in cooperation with Hispano-Suiza. Škoda sought to enlarge its non-arms manufacturing base and acquired Laurin Klement in 1925. Most of the later production took place under Škoda's name. An assembly line was used for production from 1930 onwards. In the same year a formal spin-off of the car manufacturer into a new company, Activa Spolianos Pro Automobiliva 1/2 Promysl or ASAP, took place. ASAP remained a wholly owned subsidiary of the Škoda Works and continued to sell cars under the Škoda mark. Apart from the factory in Mladá Boleslav it included also the firm's representation, sales offices and services, as well as a central workshop in Prague. At the time, the car factory in Mladá Boleslav covered an area of 215,000 m2 and employed 3,750 blue-collar and 500 white-collar workers. After a decline caused by the economic depression, Škoda introduced a new line of cars in the 1930s which significantly differed from its previous products. A new design of chassis with backbone tube and all-around independent suspension was developed under the leadership of chief engineer Vladimir Matoa and modeled on the one first introduced by Hans Ledwinka in Tatra. First used on model Škoda 420 standard in 1933, it aimed at solving insufficient torsional stiffness of the ladder frame. The new design of chassis became the basis for models Popular, Rapid, Favorite and the Superb. While in 1933 Angstrom Škoda had a 14% share of the Czechoslovak car market and occupied third place behind Praga and Tatra, the new line made it a market leader by 1936, with a 39% share in 1938. During the occupation of Czechoslovakia in World War II, the Angstrom Škoda Works were turned into part of the Reichswerk Ermengar paragraph ring, serving the German war effort by producing components for military terrain vehicles, military planes, other weapon components and cartridge cases. Vehicle output decreased from 7,052 in 1939 to 683 in 1944, of which only 35 were passenger cars. A total of 316 trucks were produced between January and May 1945. The UK and US Air Forces bombed the Angstrom Škoda Works repeatedly between 1940 and 1945. The final massive air raid took place on April 25, 1945 and resulted in almost the complete destruction of the Angstrom Škoda armament works and approximately 1,000 dead and injured. Post-World War II, when, by July 1945, the Mladá Boleslav factory had been reconstructed, production of Angstrom Škoda's first post-World War II car, the 1101 series began. It was essentially an updated version of the pre-World War II Angstrom Škoda Popular. In the autumn of 1945, Angstrom Škoda became part of the communist planned economy, which meant it was separated from the parent Angstrom Škoda company. In spite of unfavorable political conditions and losing contact with technical development in non-communist countries, Angstrom Škoda retained a good reputation until the 1960s, producing models such as the Angstrom Škoda 440 Spartak, 445 Octavia, Felicia and Angstrom Škoda 1000 megabytes. In late 1959, the Angstrom Škoda Felicia, a compact four-cylinder convertible coupe, was imported into the United States for model year 1960. Its retail price was around $2,700, for which one could purchase a nicely equipped V8 domestic car that was larger, more comfortable, and had more luxury and convenience features. Those Felicias that made it to American ownership soon experienced a number of reliability problems, further damaging the car's reputation. The Felicia was therefore a poor seller in the States and leftover cars ended up being hired off at a fraction of the original retail list. Since that time, Angstrom Škoda automobiles have not been imported into the US for retail sale. In the late 1980s, Angstrom Škoda was still manufacturing cars that conceptually dated back to the 1960s. Rear-engined models such as the Angstrom Škoda 105/120, Estelle and Rapid sold steadily and performed well against more modern makes in races such as the RAC Rally in the 1970s and 1980s. They won their class in the RAC Rally for 17 years running. They were powered by a 130 brake horsepower, 1,289 cubic centimeters engine. In spite of its dated image and becoming the subject of negative jokes, Angstrom Škodas remained a common sight on the roads of UK and Western Europe throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Sport versions of the Estelle and earlier models were produced, using the name Rapid. Soft-top versions were also available. The Rapid was once described as the poor man's Porsche, and had significant sales success in the UK during the 1980s. Of course, that the Angstrom Škoda became such a figure of fun was in part due to its ubiquity on Britain's roads. The company must have been doing something right. In 1987 the Favourite was introduced, and was one of a triumvirate of compact Western-influenced front-wheel drive hatchbacks from the three main Eastern Bloc manufacturers around that time, the others being VAZ's Lada Samara and Zastava's Yugo Sana. The Favourite's appearance was the work of the Italian design company Bertone. With some motor technology licensed from Western Europe, but still using the Angstrom Škoda Design 1289cc engine, Angstrom Škoda engineers designed a car comparable to Western production. The technological gap was still there, but began closing rapidly. The Favourite was very popular in Czechoslovakia and other Eastern Bloc countries. It also sold well in Western Europe, especially in the UK and Denmark due to its low price, and was regarded as solid and reliable. However, it was perceived as having poor value compared with contemporary Western European designs. The favourites trim levels were improved and it continued to be sold until the introduction of the Felicia in 1994. Volkswagen Group subsidiary. The fall of communism with the Velvet Revolution brought great changes to Czechoslovakia, and most industries were subject to privatization. In the case of Ångström Škoda Automobile, the state authorities brought in a strong foreign partner. Volkswagen was chosen by the Czech government on December 9, 1990, and, as a result, on March 28, 1991 a joint venture partnership agreement with Volkswagen took place, marked by the transfer of a 30% share to the Volkswagen Group on April 16, 1991. By this stage, Škoda was still making its outdated range of rear-engine saloons, although it had started production of the favorite front-wheel drive hatchback in 1988 as an eventual replacement. In the following years, Ångström Škoda became the fourth brand of the German group, as the Volkswagen Group raised its equity share first on December 19, 1994, to 60.3%, followed on December 11, 1995, to 70%. In the competition for Ångström Škoda, Volkswagen was pitted against French carmaker Renault, which lost out because its strategic plan did not include producing high-value models in the Czech factories. Renault proposed to manufacture the Renault Twingo city car in the Ångström Škoda factories. At the time the decision was made, privatization to a major German company was somewhat controversial. However, it could be argued that the subsequent fortunes of other Eastern Bloc automobile manufacturers such as Lada, AutoVAZ, and of Ångström Škoda Works itself once Ångström Škoda Auto's parent company suggested that Volkswagen's involvement was not necessarily a result of poor judgment. Backed by Volkswagen Group expertise and investments, the design both style and engineering has improved greatly. The 1994 model Felicia was effectively a reskin of the favorite, but quality and equipment improvements helped, and in the Czech Republic the car was perceived as good value for money and became popular. Sales improved across Europe, including the United Kingdom, where the Felicia was one of the best-ranking cars in customer satisfaction surveys. Volkswagen AG chairman Ferdinand Piëch personally chose Dirk van Brakel as head of design, and the subsequent Octavia and Fabia models made their way to the demanding European Union markets. They are built on common Volkswagen Group floor pans. The Fabia, launched at the end of 1999, formed the basis for the later versions of the Volkswagen Polo and Seat Ibiza, while the Octavia, launched in 1996, has shared its floorpan with a host of cars, the most popular of which is the Volkswagen Golf. The perception of Ångström Škoda in Western Europe has changed completely since the takeover by VW, in stark comparison with the reputation of the cars throughout the 1980s are often described as the laughingstock of the automotive world. As technical development progressed and attractive new models were marketed, Ångström Škoda's image was initially slow to improve. In the UK, a major turnabout was achieved with the ironic "It is a Ångström Škoda, honest" campaign, which was started in 2000 when the Fabia was launched. In a 2003 advertisement on British television, a new employee on the production line is fitting Ångström Škoda badges on the car bonnets. When some attractive-looking cars come along he stands back, not fitting the badge, since they look so good they cannot be Ångström Škodas. This market campaign worked by confronting Ångström Škoda's image problem head-on, a tactic which marketing professionals regarded as high risk. Before the advertising campaign, it was common to hear tour guides in Bratislava making jokes about Ångström Škoda, saying, "How do you double the value of the Ångström Škoda? Fill up the petrol tank." By 2005 Ångström Škoda was selling over 30,000 cars a year in the UK, a market share of over 1%. For the first time in its UK history, a waiting list developed for deliveries by Ångström Škoda. UK owners have consistently ranked the brand at or near the top of customer satisfaction surveys since the late 1990s. In contrast, the Lada and FSO cars it once competed against were withdrawn from the UK market by the end of the 1990s, due to falling sales and stricter emissions regulations, not to mention the failure to develop newer and better designs, while the Yugo-badged Zastava models were withdrawn from the British market in the early part of the decade as a result of sanctions imposed on the then Yugoslavia during its civil war. Growth strategy. 2010 was a year of important changes for Ångström Škoda Auto, in terms of both products and management. On September 1, 2010, Prof. Dr. H.C. Winfried Valand assumed responsibility for the management of the company, becoming the CEO of Ångström Škoda Auto. Under Valand's leadership, Ångström Škoda set forth plans to double the Compagnie Euro unregistered trademark S annual sales. At the 2010 Paris Motor Show in September 2010, the company unveiled the Octavia Green E-Line. This e-car concept was the forerunner to the e-car test fleet that Ångström Škoda released in 2012. The final first-generation Octavia was produced at the Mladá Boleslav plant in November 2010. The worldwide production of this model exceeded 1.4 million units since its release in 1996. In 2010, for the first time in history, China overtook German sales to become Ångström Škoda's largest individual market. In 2011, Ångström Škoda Auto celebrated its 20-year partnership with the Volkswagen Group. More than 75,000 visitors attended an open house event held in Mladá Boleslav in April. Earlier that year, the company provided details on its 2018 growth strategy, for at least one new or completely revised model to be released every 6 months. With this in mind, the company redesigned its logo and CI, which was presented at the 2011 Geneva Motor Show. Ångström Škoda Euro unregistered trademark S main attraction at the event was the Vision D design concept, a forerunner to the future third-generation Octavia. Ångström Škoda presented the Mission L design study at the IAA in Frankfurt am Main in September, which was to become the basis of the Compagnie Euro unregistered trademark S forthcoming compact model, the European Rapid. In the same year, the company started production of the new Rapid model in Pune, India, and launched the Citio at Volkswagen's Bratislava plant. During 2012, Ångström Škoda was preparing the introduction of 2 volume models. The European version of the Rapid premiered at the Paris Motor Show. This car was a successor to the first-generation Octavia in terms of its price bracket. The second volume model was the third-generation Octavia, which premiered in December 2012. Production of the 5-door Citio also began in Bratislava, and the production of the Yeti was launched at the Nizhny Novgorod GAZ factory. In 2012, Ångström Škoda introduced an emission-free fleet of Octavia Green E-Line e-cars on Czech roads to be used by external partners. Since internal tests on the fleet in late 2011, the E-fleet had driven more than 250,000 km. During the same year, Ångström Škoda celebrated several milestones, including 14 million Ångström Škoda cars being produced since 1905, 3 million Fabias, 500,000 Superbs at the Kvassiny plant, and 5 years of Ångström Škoda operations in China. Massive rejuvenation of the model range was a major tune for 2013 at Ångström Škoda. The Czech carmaker launched the third-generation Octavia Combi and Octavia RS, as well as facelifted Superb and Superb Combi. They were accompanied by brand-new members of the Rapid family as the Rapid Spaceback, the first Ångström Škoda hatchback car in the compact segment, and the Chinese version of the Rapid. Also, the Yeti faced significant changes. With the facelift, 2 design variants of Ångström Škoda S compact SUV are now available, City-like Yeti and Rugged Yeti Outdoor. Moreover, Chinese customers were given the Yeti with prolonged chassis. Sales figures. Motorsport. World Rally Championship. Following a long history of class victories in lower levels of motorsport, Ångström Škoda became a participant in the FIA World Rally Championship in the 1999 season, with World Rally car models of the Ångström Škoda Octavia. Ångström Škoda's best result with the Octavia WRC was Armin Schwarz's third place at the 2001 Safari Rally. From mid-2003, the Octavia was replaced by the smaller Ångström Škoda Fabia. Ångström Škoda used the 2004 season to develop the car further, but did not achieve much success the following season. However, at the season-ending Rally Australia, 1995 world champion Colin McRae was running second before retiring. Angstrom Škoda then withdrew from the series, and the 2006 season saw Angstrom Škoda represented by the semi-privateer Red Bull Angstrom Škoda team. Jan Kopecky 1/2 drove the Fabia WRC to fifth place at the Rally Catalunya, and as late as the 2007 Rally Deutschland the Fabia still achieved a fifth-place result, again in the hands of Kopecky 1/2. Former Works Ford and Citroën driver Frana Section Duval also drove a Fabia WRC in 2006 for the Privateer First Motorsport team, achieving a sixth place on Rally Catalunya. Super 2000, in 2009, Angstrom Škoda entered the Intercontinental Rally Challenge for the first time, using the Fabia S2000, winning 3 rallies and finishing second in both the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championship. In 2010, Angstrom Škodas won a total of 7 IRC events, winning both the Manufacturers' and Driver Championship for Duo H currency NNINEN. These achievements were repeated in the following 2 seasons, with Andreas Mikkelsen as the Drivers' Champion. In 2013, the Intercontinental Rally Challenge was merged with a European Rally Championship and the team gained the Drivers' Championship title once again for Jan Kopecky 1/2. The car was also raced by privateers in several championships, including Red Bull, Bauer, René Georges and Rufer in the 2010 Super 2000 World Rally Championship. Bonneville Speedway, in August 2011, a special Angstrom Škoda Octavia VRS set the world record at the Bonneville Speedway and became the fastest car in the world with an up to 2-liter engine, when it hit 227 mph. The current fastest production Angstrom Škoda car is the Angstrom Škoda Superb 3.6 FSI4X4, with a top speed of 250 km/h and acceleration from 0 to 100 km/h in 6.5 seconds. Models, current models, Angstrom Škoda Citio, Angstrom Škoda Fabia 2, Angstrom Škoda Rapid, Angstrom Škoda Octavia 3, Angstrom Škoda Superb 2, Angstrom Škoda Roomster Praktik, Angstrom Škoda Yeti. Historic models, 1900s, Laurin and Klement A, Laurin and Klement B, Laurin and Klement C, Laurin and Klement D, Laurin and Klement E, Laurin and Klement B2, Laurin and Klement C2, Laurin and Klement F, Laurin and Klement FF, Laurin and Klement FC, Laurin and Klement HO/HLHLB, Laurin and Klement BS, Laurin and Klement FCS, Laurin and Klement G, Laurin and Klement DL, Laurin and Klement FDO/FDL, Laurin and Klement EN, Laurin and Klement FNRC, Laurin and Klement FCR, Laurin and Klement LLO, 1910s, Laurin and Klement Ensign, Laurin and Klement KLOKB, Laurin and Klement Lake, Laurin and Klement SR, Laurin and Klement DN, Laurin and Klement RK, Laurin and Klement SBSC, Laurin and Klement MMO, Laurin and Klement MK/400, Laurin and Klement OOK, Laurin and Klement SDSGSK, Laurin and Klement MS, Laurin and Klement SHSK, Laurin and Klement TTA, Laurin and Klement CSM 200/205, Laurin and Klement MDMFMHML 305, 1920s, Laurin and Klement MS 545, Laurin and Klement Angstrom Škoda 545 Angstrom Škoda 422 Angstrom Škoda 430. 1930s, Angstrom Škoda 633 Angstrom Škoda 637 Angstrom Škoda 420 Standard Popular, Angstrom Škoda Rapid, Angstrom Škoda Favorite, Angstrom Škoda Superb, 1940s, Angstrom Škoda Superb OHV, Angstrom Škoda 1101 Tudor, Angstrom Škoda 1102 Angstrom Škoda VOS, 1950s, Angstrom Škoda 1200 Angstrom Škoda 440,450 Angstrom Škoda 1201 Angstrom Škoda Felicia, Angstrom Škoda Octavia. 1960s, Angstrom Škoda 1202 Angstrom Škoda Octavia Combi, Angstrom Škoda 1000 MB, Angstrom Škoda 1203 Angstrom Škoda 100/110, 1970s, Angstrom Škoda 110R, Angstrom Škoda 105,125, 1980s, Angstrom Škoda Guard, Angstrom Škoda 130136, Angstrom Škoda Rapid, Angstrom Škoda Favorite Pickup, TR14 Trolleybus, 1990s, Angstrom Škoda Felicia, Angstrom Škoda Octavia First Generation, Angstrom Škoda Fabia First Generation, 2000s, Angstrom Škoda Superb First Generation, Angstrom Škoda Octavia Second Generation. 2004-2013. Concept cars, Vision C, Mission L, Vision D, Fabia Super, Joyster, Yeti 2, Roomster, Tudor, Fabia Paris Edition, Edge, Felicia Golden Prague, 783 Favorite Cooper Copyright, Angstrom Škoda 110 Super Sport for Art, Angstrom Škoda 1100 GT, Angstrom Škoda 720, Angstrom Škoda F3, Angstrom Škoda 1100 Type 968, Angstrom Škoda 973 Beta. See also: Avia, list of Czech automobiles, Angstrom Škoda India, Angstrom Škoda Works, Tatra, Bibliography, Margolius, Ivan and Meisel, Charles. Angstrom Škoda Laurin Klement. London, Osprey. ISBN A1-85532-237-4. Notes. References. External links, official website.